What's up, everybody? Gucifer here with you, and I know let's just dive into this right away. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I do apologize for that. I didn't intend to be gone for as long as I was. I got a job, and so trying to figure out my schedule and be awake and energy for all that has been rough. But I'm back now, and being back now, I brought somebody new to shit on. Who is that new person? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's none other than Karen fucking Rodgers. God, and doesn't he look lovely? And I know what everybody's thinking. This is a little bit too easy of a target, but there's something very important that I want to talk about as it applies to the Aaron Rodgers situation. And so that's what we're going to do today. So first off, for those of you who don't know, Aaron Rodgers has been in the news quite a bit recently because of a feud he's having with Jimmy Kimmel. What was originally said is going to be played in the clip for you that's coming up now.
This has something to do with the Epstein list that came out?
Feels like.
That's supposed to be coming out soon.
Look, this guy's been waiting in his wine cellar.
Yeah.
I've been waiting in my wine cellar for this thing.
A lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't.
All right.
So what he says here is that there's a lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, who hope the Epstein list doesn't come out. Jimmy Kimmel, in response to this, did a 7-minute dialogue just completely thrashing Aaron Rodgers. Because what Aaron Rodgers is doing is putting Jimmy Kimmel in the crosshairs. But Aaron Rodgers doesn't see it that way, does he? After the Jimmy Kimmel diatribe absolutely savaging Aaron Rodgers had this to say. "I wish him the best," Rodgers added. "I don't give a shit what he says about me, but as long as he understands what I actually said and that I'm not accusing him of being on a list, then I'm all for moving forward." He also said, "I totally understand how serious an allegation of pedophilia would be. So for him to be upset about that, I get it," Rodgers said. "I'm not stupid enough, even though you think I'm an idiot and you've made a lot of comments about my intelligence, but I'm not stupid enough to accuse you of that with absolutely zero concrete evidence. That's ridiculous." Now, let's think about what we just heard from Aaron Rodgers' mouth. A lot of people are worried about the Epstein list, including Jimmy Kimmel. Why is he including Jimmy Kimmel in there? If all of this is so serious and he's not making any accusations, why even put Jimmy Kimmel's name in there in the first place? And this is one of the problems that we come across often with these people's line of thinking. The point of it is that Jimmy Kimmel could be on the list. You know who else could be on the list? You. You know who else could be on the list? Aaron Rodgers. Because all we're saying is who could be. Anyone could potentially be. Does that mean it's true? No. But anybody could be anything. You can just write down a name and put it on there and start calling it that way. And that's all Aaron Rodgers did. He assigned a name to it, and now he's trying to back out of his own bullshit. And here's why this is important, guys. What Aaron Rodgers is doing here is one of the classic moron arguments. This is an argument that only comes from really stupid people. This is an argument of express versus implied. What Aaron Rodgers is doing is saying, I didn't call him a pedophile, and he's correct. He did not call him a pedophile. But what did he imply? That Jimmy Kimmel specifically is going to be worried about the Epstein list coming out. Now, why would Jimmy Kimmel be worried about the Epstein list coming out? Epstein was a pedophile sex trafficker. People who went to his island are considered to be pedophiles. So if he was on the log, then that would make him a pedophile, right? You can't fight this. You can't be, well, I expressly didn't say he's a pedophile. I just heavily implied it. That's why this is so dumb, is because you're denying that you implied anything, and it's obvious. The only reason you made the comment and named Jimmy Kimmel was to make that implication. You can't just back out of it and say, well, I didn't actually say that. And to come with the attitude of, if he actually listens to what I say, or whatever the fuck Aaron Rodgers said, I think it was something like, as long as he knows what I actually said. What you actually said was that it's implicating him as being on the Epstein flight logs and sex trafficking with children. You're implying that he was a part of that to some extent. Just because you didn't expressly say it doesn't mean shit. Jimmy Kimmel, in his diatribe, makes note that his wife has to hear about this, his kids have to hear about this, and even his mailman has to hear about this. It doesn't matter if you expressly said it, because people took what they inferred from what you said, and you implied that he was on the list, that he's a pedophile, and people got that. And then people started believing that. It doesn't matter if you didn't expressly say it, you let people form the opinion based on the bias. And now you're trying to act like, oh, I didn't do that. And I just want to go back to the quote. I'm not stupid enough, even though you think I'm an idiot and you've made a lot of comments about my intelligence, but I'm not stupid enough, blah, 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 blah. The only people who talk about how they're not stupid are the stupid people. They're the stupid people who are also confident and completely insecure. That's why he has to come at this with, oh, you insulted my intelligence. Well, you believe dumb shit that has no reason to be believed. Sounds like a fucking idiot to me. Let's get one thing out of the way. Going to YouTube is not research. You're not doing research about Aaron Rodgers by watching me. If you think that, you're fucking dumb. You should not be able to vote. You cannot properly formulate opinions. And that's why we can't let people like Aaron Rodgers, Karen Rodgers, big bitch. That's why we can't let them have these discussions with people, is because they don't have any fucking standards. Like we already discussed, he's just talking about who could be on the list, and anybody in the world could be on the list. That's how could be works. You know, and he's coming back and trying to say that he didn't expressly say this, and so that makes the implication non-existent. This is what idiots do. And now it's just trying to get all mired up in the gunk that he thinks he's going to get away with it. Well, you done messed up, Aaron. Honestly, though, if that picture exists of you as a person, how are you ever going to try and sell yourself as an intellectual? Fuck. There's one last thing I want to touch on, and it applies to Aaron Rodgers as the professional. It comes from this quote. On one hand, Rodgers said the Jets need to focus on winning. Anything that doesn't have anything to do with winning needs to be assessed. So anything in the building that we're doing individually or collectively that has nothing to do with real winning needs to be assessed. And this from him, I really think is just great, because not only does it give Karen Rodgers the final touch to his shitty personality of being a retail manager, but we know he's a god-awful person, because he's absolutely telling the rest of his teammates, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, Karen, chill out. So you can go on Pat McAfee's show like every fucking week with those chuckle fucks, and that has to do with real winning, and talk about these conspiracies and get yourself brought up in all this shit constantly, and you can't stay out of the media and shut your fucking mouth for 5 seconds, and that's what's really leading to real winning in the Jets organization? You're an asshole. And just so we get this out there, the chuckle fucks who went along with it and just laughed at him, oh, he's in his wine cellar. You're part of the problem too. Stop giving voices to these fucking people. But you prefer money over actual integrity, so fuck you. All right, guys. Well, I think we've laid into them enough. Just keep in mind when you see this in the future, watch for this type of shit. Watch these people trying to pull the express versus the implied. You can't do that. It's not how it works. It's really, really just that simple. And quite frankly, I already know the comments I'm going to get. You're so angry. I'm not angry. I'm fine. This is just stuff I care about. Maybe you should too. Maybe if you were stop worrying about the emotions that you can't fucking figure out all the goddamn time, you could actually do something with yourself. Maybe try and learn something.